Hey, welcome to the Magical Living Open House. I'm your host, Patricia Tallman, and our special guest today is Mandy Keene. Thanks, Mandy, for being here. Yay.
Thank you,
Mandy,
Patricia.
yeah, Mandy is a respected performance coach, author, and leadership mentor with over 26 years of experience in executive coaching. She's logged more than 40,000 coaching hours and has worked with some of the top thought leaders and entrepreneurs, including Tony Robbins, Russell Brunson, Bob Proctor, and Debbie Phillips. She is the co-creator of Understanding Personality, a platform that integrates the top 6 personality assessments to foster deep self-awareness and stronger teams. So everyone, please welcome Mandy.
Thank
Mandy, oh my goodness. Like we could just talk about one little sentence at a time, but you've got some amazing insights, I know, and experience 40,000 coaching hours. Holy smokes. And I think I get tired. That's incredible.
thank you. Thank you. It's been an honor. I feel very fortunate and blessed to have found my calling and passion at a young age. And I feel that that's been such a blessing. It's one of the reasons why I'm so passionate about serving and helping other coaches, because I know that not everyone got the cards that I got, and not
Mm.
everyone gets the doors opened that I got opened. And so I do feel like a moral obligation to share some of the things that I've learned because I see now that with the coaching industry being so competitive and
Mm.
so many, and it's there's a lot of myths and lies being told and taught specifically to coaches that I want to clear that air and show that truth and because that makes an impact on everyone.
It sure does. I really, as soon as you said that you came to your calling at an early age, I really love that. And there's been, I mean, I wish I had known what I know now, of course, and that's always the case when you get older, but the personal development, the personal business development part of that. I I I know that a lot of us have followed a passion or followed a career choice and don't regret that. But then you shift and or something happens and makes you shift. And that's what I feel like I've got a lot of my audience, by people who didn't know about personal development at first. It wasn't part of their worldview. They just didn't know. And now it's like, oh shit, I wish I'd known that before. I wish I hadn't had to hit bottom so hard to have that aha. What would you say to that? Like to some of us who are much later in life that have finally gotten there, and I have some regret about that.
Oh gosh, I would love to do whatever I can to inspire uh, the release of the regret because I believe that everything does happen in a perfect order, and there is a thing called divine timing. And
Mm,
you look at the biggest gorgeous trees that go so high up into the sky.
mm,
In order to be that big gorgeous tree, it has to descend. We can't ascend without descending.
mm,
So whatever was your dark night or your bottom, it had to happen in order to
mm,
ascend. Even though I did start Patricia 26 years ago, I'm not the same coach or the same person. And I had to do a lot of unlearning that if someone, let's say, was new to becoming a coach now, they wouldn't have to do that. They wouldn't have to do as much of the unlearning that I did that was really hard on my ego to let go of. Because it's like, when you learn something and you learn it over and over and over again and you study it, it's like you get attached. I'm like, wait a
mm,
minute, I'm not going to use that anymore. It's almost like letting go of a stock you invested in and you're realizing, okay, I'm losing money on this. What am I doing? I got to just let it go. And so I think there's pros and cons to finding your calling at a young age and later on in life. It even though I did find it at a young age, I did have to go through quite the brutal process of many, many ego deaths, many, many times where I had to unlearn a lot of things. And I wouldn't recommend it for everyone, really. I can't with integrity.
I love the analogy with the tree because it is true. And the descent is that you're descending into the earth and getting more grounded and learning and getting stronger. So then you can really grow. And
Yeah.
I like thinking about it like that. Like everything that we've been through helps us to get stronger. Yeah. And I love ego deaths too. Boy, do I know that one. Phew.
Right.
So, all right. Well, tell me, you've developed a system, is that right?
So my dear friend and mentor, Russell Brunson,
Mm.
and I created a software called Understanding Personality, where it's kind of like Facebook meets the top personality assessments. And I even wrote a book here, Understanding Personality, that it's really designed for coaches or anybody who wants to know let's say you look at someone's assessment results and then you're like, what does that mean?
Hmm.
How do I work with them? Or if you're looking at hiring someone or working with someone, I gave the Cliff Notes version of what I look for in the results of these assessments. And I love this platform because it's really showed me how when I have someone's assessments results, and I've offered this to other hosts, I want to offer it to you that if you want to create a free profile, Patricia, and have me back on, I could read your profile results, and that's a fun show. Like that makes it
Absolutely.
fun. Like your listeners already love you, so this is like another way for them to get to know you. Because what I do is I look at your assessment results and I look at, okay, so this is where Patricia shines. This is what you're natural at. This is what would give you energy, and this is what would drain you. This would be your kryptonite because every light has a shadow. And a lot of us carry shame, or what my favorite that
Mm.
entrepreneurs are using today is they won't say that they're ashamed and they won't say that they're scared, but instead they say they have imposter syndrome, which is
Oh, hmm.
I'm scared of who I think I am. And it's a lot because they don't know who they are. They don't understand this avatar that they're playing. They just know this avatar is really good at business or really good at that, but they don't understand why they're better at it than all their siblings or their neighbors. They don't understand why they've been able to make more money than other people who really struggle with money, right? And so once you become aware of going, oh, no wonder I rock at that. Yeah, okay. It's kind of like, have you ever seen the movie Jumanji?
Sure. Love it.
Yeah, right, right. So you know how they had like the screen come down where The Rock knew like what he was good at, and then Jack Black was like, I'm only good at maps or whatever it was. And it's kind of like that. It's like we all have our Jumanji screen. We all have what is our strengths and our gifts, and then what's our kryptonite. Some of us can't eat cake. It's just not good.
It's me. I can't eat it.
Right,
Yep.
right. So
I wish I
it's just
could.
being aware of that. Yeah.
Wow. All right. We'll do it, guys. We'll put it in the show notes so you can get her book and anything else you want to share, Mandy. We will share. All right. You're already using nerd terms, so you're our favorite. We appreciate that.
Yay.
Yeah,
Yay.
it just makes it a lot more accessible and fun, doesn't it? I don't know. It does. So, what did you do with Tony Robbins?
Oh, I was a coach. So I started off, instead of buying me a car for high school graduation, my mom bought me a ticket to one of his seminars. And then
Amazing.
I became hooked and I started traveling around the world with his sales team. But then when he opened up the coaching department, I knew that was my home. I just knew it. And I got to start with him in coaching back in 99, 2000.
Hmm.
It was, I'm so grateful that Tony gave me a shot at such a young age, and it set me on the path that I'm on today.
He was. good at that, I think. I've heard from a lot of pe young people who started with him. He was very good about giving them legs up.
Yeah.
Tony was, I bought his, I'm in Hawaii, and I
Okay.
went to, like a yard sale. And I bought, it was a really dark time for me. And I found a CD box of CDs, missing one CD, the first CD, the intro CD. And I was like, I don't care. I bought it for $10, the whole thing. Yeah, it was like amazing. And I listened to them on repeat just to keep me going, to keep me from spinning out and going into depression, and just kept it going. And it really was remarkable. And then I moved on and found other live coaches and things like that. But I've always been fond of Tony for that, and appreciative and grateful. And then
Yeah.
Russell Brunson, I think I was introduced to him originally through Amy Porterfield.
Okay.
And yeah, it started watching his free stuff. So, I mean, some of these people and my audience will hear me mention them every once in a while. So if you're an entrepreneur, these are places to go where you can get such dense, fabulous information. Um, but I love women like you because now you've had, Bob Proctor, you've worked with these icons, but then you've turned it into something that is particular to you and a
Yeah.
voice out of you. So these men, yay, okay, great. And the ladies,
Yes.
we want to hear from our sisters. So what do you have a way of saying, like, how did you spin this into Mandy's
Mm.
voice?
Oh, that's such a beautiful question. Thank you. It's
Mm,
really interesting because um, I can look back on the Mandy, the past almost, I'd say even like 20 years, where I didn't understand, and I have so much compassion for her because she was doing the best she knew how, but I didn't
mm,
understand how we really are different as women. We really are. And I didn't want to admit that. I didn't want to see that. And it took a lot of humbling to finally get the point. Oh, okay, you know what? It's actually okay. It's okay that we're different.
yeah.
And it's okay that not just men and women are different, but as individuals. When I'm coaching my clients, because everybody's got seems like some form or level of ADD. Patricia, I use like little animals to be able to make so what I find is like so many of these like gurus, they're like lions, right? Like they're big and they have big personalities and they're beautiful and they're wonderful and there's nothing wrong with the lion. But if you are, let's say, a golden retriever, golden retrievers are great. I have a golden retriever. Her name's Whiskey. That's actually her picture right there next to Heath.
Oh,
And yeah, a client gave me that for my birthday. Isn't that cute?
so
So,
sweet.
so many people are, let's say, for example, a golden retriever, and they're comparing themselves to being a lion,
Mm,
or they're trying to be a lion. And that's something that I know I did, is I tried to be someone that I wasn't. I tried to be like my mentors because I
mm,
admired them and looked up
mm.
to them.
Sure.
But no matter how hard, a golden retriever tries, they're never going to be a lion. They need to
Mm,
embrace being a golden retriever. And that's why I love assessments, is because I find assessments have us go, oh, okay, this is my sweet spot. This is where I'm great. If I try and be like this teacher, this mentor, I'm going to run my battery out
right.
and I'm gonna get and I'm gonna get sick. And that's what happened to me. I got migraines, and it was really debilitating on my physical health. And so when I realized, you know what, I want to do what's in alignment with Mandy, and I really love people, and
Mm.
I love getting to know people, and I love geeking out on this conversation. I'm an assessment nerd, and so it was like, hey, I get to swim in this. This is a blast.
Oh
Does that
my
answer
gosh.
your
I
question?
I feel like your Patronus is a golden retriever, and you're
Yeah.
meant to just love people up. We're
Yeah.
it's. I think so many of us can relate to trying to be like our heroes and
Yeah.
thinking, I need to be that. And it's okay. I think young people go through a thing where you need to model your heroes.
Yeah.
But it would be really great if one of our heroes taught us to be yourself,
Yeah.
to find your own gift and voice. And some
Yeah.
some do, but it's harder to find because that takes a lot of one-on-one. And this world is so busy and they don't give us time. So we have to figure it out for ourselves. I also just wanted to throw out there that being a stunt woman in Hollywood, I was in a man's world. And,
Oh.
we're getting thrown around just as hard as the guys are, and we're getting paid less to do so. And
um,
that had to be accepted. I mean, if you didn't want to work, you could complain, but you wouldn't work. So you just had to do what you did. And so, talking about the difference between men and women, I could be that tough. I was that tough, but it was burning me out. And it also made me furious in so many ways, like being treated as less than just because I'm not as big or strong. But it's still, I could hold my own, but it wasn't about that. It was that there is so much strength in femininity, and there's so much, but we haven't developed it. Now we're turning some corners, and hopefully that we'll keep going in that direction instead of backwards. But wow, that we need models like you to help us say, yeah, learn from every which way you can. And then, check out these assessments, get to know yourself. And I want to say one more thing and then I'll shut up. But when you're talking about assessments, I have to say, I have dipped my toe into that and backed off
yeah.
because I felt like I didn't want to put myself in a box. I didn't want
Yes.
to say, oh, I'm really good over here and I'm not good over here. And then that would be my new reality. I just wanted to do my best every which way I could. But
Yeah.
there's so much to be said for leaning into your strengths and getting some help with the other side or
Yes.
hiring somebody else to do that.
Yes.
you know, so I definitely want to continue our conversation about how it's okay to be what is it I'm trying to say? People put themselves in boxes. Everybody wants to be in a box. I'm empathetic. I'm antisocial. I'm this. I'm that. And you just then wear that label, whoosh, and you don't question it anymore. That's what I feel like I kind of fight against.
Yes. Oh, I love it. I love it. There is a balance with it. I would say that people who are really unaware of who they are and their gifts, they're in the tiniest box. And
Mm.
it's called ignorance. Like ignorance is like the teeny tiniest, most uncomfortable, constrictive box there is. And I look at assessments radically different than most people, like radically different. I look at assessments as a puzzle piece. It's just a puzzle piece. So you're Patricia and you have your story. You're an eternal soul. I'm an eternal soul. You have
Mhm.
depth and complexity and mystery that no assessment on planet Earth could ever, ever, ever encompass. Ever. So it's not giving our power away completely to assessments. And I know there's people that do, and they almost treat assessments like religion. And I'm like, geesh, they're good, but come on, like, wow. So I don't do that, Patricia. I look at it like, okay, if I were coaching you, I would get some of your backstory. I'd have to get some of your backstory because that's the way to have compassion for someone. That way to have
Mhm.
compassion for someone is you got to understand where they came from. And then if I was looking at your assessment results and I knew your backstory, it's like, oh, okay, I get who is this avatar? What is she coming here to do? Like we were just learning the chat GBT with oh my goodness, I forgot her name. Not Kimberly, but the other one. Where she
Bridget,
Bridget,
Bridget.
yes. Yeah, where she was teaching um about like how to discover what your archetype is. Like we're each an archetype. Like we have a limited time while we're here on this planet. And I truly believe that we each have a purpose and we're here to grow in some way. And when we don't know who we are, that's when we get distracted.
Yeah.
That's when we get pulled in other areas that aren't in alignment with us. And then our body says no through either pain of sickness, or we develop an addiction. So it's a sign that we're not in alignment. And assessments are just a puzzle piece, or just one of very many that I like to use in helping people get into alignment. Does that make sense?
It makes a tremendous amount of sense. And I'm looking forward to having the time to go deeper into this because my membership is going to laugh because they just hear me say all the time, get the hell out of that box, stop it.
I love that. I love
So
that.
you're going to be the counterpoint to this. Like, this is how we can constructively use this information. And I'm not saying that, not knowing whether or not when you're extroverted or you're introverted. I understand that. And I understand there's a spectrum of it. And I understand that it's important to know these things about yourself so you can recharge and take care. But I want to encourage people to know that you're so much more than that as well at the same time. You
Mhm.
are more than that. And there's times when even the introvert becomes extrovert, extraordinarily because they're passionate about something and they forget that they're uncomfortable because they're so passionate. So we can embrace these things too. I don't know.
Yes, I love it. I love what you say, that you are so much more than that. And I believe that that's part of the role of a great coach. And this is where I believe, if don't want to be replaced by AI, because AI is taking over. It's already
It
happened.
is. Mm-hmm.
Um, and it's impressed me. I've had some really profound conversations with ChatGPT, and I've realized that what's going to keep someone, let's say in the coaching profession or the therapy or anything that's in the service profession, is exactly what you just said, is someone who sees more in another human being that no robot, no program could ever see, and they could feel it and they could sense it. And again, they can use something like assessment results or astrology or human design or gene keys or whatever it may be as a puzzle piece. But again, I love your passion and your devotion for inspiring people to not be confined, because it's true that you can use it as a crutch. I'm not going to say that people haven't. Like, oh,
Mm.
I'm not good at that. Like, there's people
Yeah.
Enneagram 8, like, oh, I'm just an Enneagram 8, or I'm just a high D. That's why I'm a jerk. I'm like, don't use you can't be a jerk just because you're a high D. Like, come on, high don't like there are ways to be more diplomatic. And so I agree with you that you're onto something. I don't want to minimize your passion of what you're
Oh, you're not. No,
doing.
you're not.
I love it. And man, I would have fun going over your
Oh,
profile
all right. Okay, we'll do
and tell
it.
you, if I looked at your profile results, why you're so passionate about not being in a box.
You could?
I totally could. If I got your profile results. So if you go to understandingpersonality.com, create a free profile and have me back on your show, I'll do a reading and I'll
Okay.
say, okay, this is why I see that Patricia is so passionate. No way. Do you want to put Patricia in a box?
That's so awesome. It'd be really funny. They'll be laughing.
I love it.
Well, thank you so much, Mandy. I'm going to I'll get your links. We'll have it in the show notes once again, and then look for having when Mandy comes back, and we'll try to make that happen, pretty soon in the next
That'd be
few weeks,
awesome.
depending on our schedules. But we'll make that happen. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Patricia.
See you soon.
Thank you.